Welcome to Derek's Zoo Videos, where I share my personal passion for the zoological world. Today, I'm introducing a brand new series that I've dubbed Top 5 Reasons to Visit. This series may expand quickly, but to start, I'm focusing on spotlighting some of the Midwest smaller parks that you may be less familiar with and give my pitch for why they are worth checking out. To help shape this series in the future, I want you all to comment what things you consider when deciding which zoos to visit. Our first spotlight is Lansing's Potter Park Zoo, a place I've grown up just 30 minutes from and visited 21 times to date. Beginning its story back in 1912, there's quite a bit of history behind this zoo, which is nicely chronicled in a book I've plugged before called Little Zoo by the Red Cedar. Despite what Wikipedia would have you believe, this is a small 20-acre zoo located within a roughly 100-acre park, which leads me conveniently to my first of 5 reasons: the size. Usually in the zoo enthusiast world, we tend to think that bigger is better when it comes to zoos, simply because a bigger zoo means there's more to see. But visiting a smaller zoo has some definite benefits as well. When visiting a large zoo, you're always going to miss seeing at least a few animals because there just isn't time to try to go back and see everything you missed a second time. However, when I visit Potter Park, I can comfortably walk through the entire zoo 2 or 3 times in around 3 hours, which means I almost always see nearly every single animal on every visit. Don't get me wrong, I love visiting big zoos as well, but sometimes it's nice to take a more leisurely pace and not stress over if I'll have time to see everything. Number 2, the historical feel. This one is admittedly subjective, and some of you may wholeheartedly disagree with me, which is fine. While more modern is almost always a good thing when it comes to zoos, as a self-certified zoo nerd, there's something about a smaller city zoo and those classic exhibit designs that makes me feel a bit nostalgic. This is most present at Potter Park with the Feline and Primate Building, which is a small, combined version of the classic big cat and primate houses that you could once find all over the country, and which you can get a full tour of by clicking the card above. If you do disagree with me on this one, I have good news coming up at number 2. But first, let's take a look at the zoo's current animal collection. With only 20 acres to work with, it's no surprise that you won't find many larger animals here at Potter Park, like giraffes, bears, or great apes. But since I see those at many other zoos, that really isn't a big issue for a zoo fanatic. And there still is rhinos, lions, tigers, kangaroos, and more to satisfy a more casual zoo visitor. But for those more inclined towards rarer zoo animals like myself, what does Potter Park have to offer? Obviously, this is based on my personal experiences, but Pallas's cats, tufted deer, and king vultures are a few of Potter Park species I haven't seen at many other zoos. Even though they seem to be becoming more common in zoos, okapis are an animal you wouldn't necessarily expect to find at a smaller park. And even some North American natives, like elk and Arctic foxes, aren't that frequently found at zoos in my area. Potter Park's list of rare zoo animals could soon be expanding as we dive into number 2, a bright future. As a frequent visitor over the last 15 years, Potter Park has already seen noticeable improvements. Just recently, the zoo phased out the outdated small mammal modes that I featured on my first ever exhibit tour, in the process opening up space for possible future development. And a handful of other outdated exhibits have disappeared or received a makeover in the last decade. Looking at the zoo's 2023 master plan, it appears new penguin and lion exhibits are next on the agenda. While Potter Park's exhibit organization may appear to be lacking a cohesive theme, which I know is a pet peeve for some, this master plan reveals they do have some theme tying together their collection. The zoo is located in the capital city of the Great Lakes state, and thus emphasizes exhibiting animals from biomes relating to Great Lakes of the world. 5 such regions: Michigan Great Lakes, Asia's Lake Baikal, Africa's Lake Tanganyika, Andean lakes and Pantanal wetlands, and Australia's Lake Eyre and wetlands all have future proposed species, many of which are extremely exciting possibilities, including wolverines, toucans, fishing cats, duikers, Baird's tapir, Chicoan peccaries, hoodoo, ocelots, Tasmanian devils, and more. Do I expect Potter Park to add all of these species? Absolutely not. But the addition of just a few of them would instantly make the zoo more of a must-visit for a zoo enthusiast. And there's reason to believe it could happen, since 2 of the proposed species, Okapi and Canadian lynx, have already been added to the collection. That leaves us with number 1, recent conservation and breeding success. At their core, modern zoos are all about conservation, and one of the major ways they can contribute is breeding endangered animals, so they may continue to act as ambassadors for the plight of their wild counterparts, and as a sort of safety net should things take a turn for the worse in the wild. In this regard, Potter Park's recent success has been remarkable. Since 2018, the zoo has welcomed the births of a critically endangered black rhino calf, 2 critically endangered eastern bongos, several endangered red panda cubs, 2 binturong bintlets, 3 endangered ring-tailed lemurs, and 5 litters of critically endangered cotton-top tamarins, showing the zoo's exceptional dedication to saving the world's endangered species. If you're still not convinced to give Potter Park Zoo a try, or would like to visit but the zoo is out of your reach, I will soon be prepared to show you everything Potter Park has to offer with a 2-part full zoo tour coming later this summer. Thank you for watching the first edition of my new series, and once again remember to give your feedback in the comments to help me know what direction to take this series in the future.